If you're currently watching from the bench as the course creators that you aspire to be are in the game, center stage, killing it launch after launch, and you've decided that you are ready to get off the sidelines and write your own success story, then you need to watch this video all the way till the end as I share the exact 10-step process that I would take if I were to go and start all the way over again from 0 sales to landing my first 100 course sales. Right now, I am walking a small group of coaching clients through launching their own wildly successful courses, but before working with me, many of them went through a lot of course launching hardship before getting to this point. They had months spent preparing their first course and their first launch, enrolling just a fraction of the students that they had hoped for, and then over-delivering like crazy to try to satisfy those students, only to find that they couldn't squeeze out the all-important testimonial from them no matter how hard they tried, setting them up for more struggles in their future launches. They quickly learned the hard lesson that courses are a numbers game, and they are only the super profitable passive income style dream businesses if you can enroll students en masse, so they either had to change something drastic or let their course creators' dreams die. So how do you get there? How do you set yourself up for launch success? Let's discuss. I'm gonna walk you through the 10 steps that I'd take to get those first 100 course sales all over again. But before we do, there's something super vital that I wanna share with you, and that is what's actually needed in order to sell your first course. First, you need a super clear course idea. Now note, it doesn't need to already be created, but you need to have a very specific idea. It can't be like a general, I want to create a mindset course, or I want to create a how to start a business course. It needs to be a specific course idea. The second thing that you need is an audience. And the third thing that you need is a way to take payments. And I do have to say, a sales page is helpful too. You could get away without it, but definitely a way to take payments is absolutely necessary. So many people think that they need the entire course ready. And while you could absolutely do that if you want to, and I also enjoy doing that, something I see so often is course creators spend months on creating their course content, and then they go ahead and they set a launch date and they're like, okay, I'm finally gonna get this thing out into the world. And then they massively underestimate how much work needs to go into the marketing and promotion of the course. And then they launch with this like half-hearted, half-finished, not at all prepared launch. And so if the choice is between having the content ready ahead of time for your course or putting together a really fantastic launch, I would go for the latter. The course content can be totally taught live to the first cohort of students, giving them a really exceptional experience and them getting direct access to you and really helping you shape the content in the process. So again, if the choice is between having all the content ready and a really half-hearted launch, or having a fantastic launch and then doing the content live with your students, I would go for that one. Now, the other thing that I mentioned you need is an audience. Now, please do not make the mistake that so many others do of launching to an empty room or trying to launch to someone else's audience. These things truly do not work. My next video is literally all about this, the mistakes that all the failing course creators make, and this is a major aspect of it. So to learn more about those mistakes and how to avoid them so you don't have that same problem, be sure to hit subscribe on the channel and tap the little bell button so you'll be notified when the next video drops, and that will show you exactly how to avoid all this massive pitfall that I see course creators falling into again and again and again of trying to launch to an empty room. And finally, as I mentioned, the last thing you need is the way to take payments. Some people create a full-on sales page, and honestly, they help massively. A really great sales page is a fantastic asset, but if you're going for like minimum viable launch here, it is possible to launch without one for now and then create your sales page later, but you do need the way to take payments from the very beginning. Okay, so now you have those 3 bits that you need to have down first. Let's move on to the actual steps to make those first 100 course sales. So step number 1 is to make that decision on if you're going to be creating your course content before or after the launch. I think this all comes down to like stress. What is going to be the least stressful and the most enjoyable experience for you? Some people, they go the route of like, I'm just gonna sell the thing and then create all the content later and I'll get it done when I need to. For me, that is super stressful, and so I don't love doing that. I like having a bit prepared beforehand and then a content creation plan for when I'm gonna create the rest later, so that it's like gives me freedom and leeway and it's not too much all at once. Some people get totally freaked out by that idea of having all the course content, like only creating it once they've sold the thing, and so they wanna have the full thing done beforehand. Again, totally fine if you do that, but make sure that doesn't mean that you just put together a sloppy last minute launch because you've just spent so much time on the course content. You truly need to spend just as much time on the course content as you do on the launch on your first one. So if you're spending 3 months creating the course content, well, probably shouldn't take you 3 months to create the course content. Let's say you spend a month creating the course content, you should also expect to spend a month preparing for your launch event. There is truly no right or wrong answer here for creating the content before or creating the content after. It is totally up to you and what feels best for you. But remember, if you're going to create the content after you have launched, then make yourself a realistic creation schedule so that you haven't overpromised and under-delivered and all of your modules are coming out late to your students, because that would not be a great experience for them or great testimonials for you. Step number 2 is to build an audience where your marketing messages will be heard in a very short space of time. If you've been around the course creator world for any amount of time, you will have heard people talking about an email list. And the reason that they're all talking about an email list is that it has been proven, hands down, all the course creators will tell you this, that it is number 1 in effectiveness for delivering a message very quickly to the right people. If you create something like blog or YouTube or podcast or whatever, those are fantastic additional assets, but you can only, if you're only releasing one video a week or one blog post or one podcast episode a week, you don't really have the ability to communicate as much as you need to in a launch. So having an email list where you can send out those emails very frequently in a short space of time is super key. Now, the second option for this, there is an alternative to this, and that is a Facebook group. I have seen it's not quite as effective as email, but it is up there for being pretty effective with getting the message across during your launch period. The other thing I want you to know is while social media and social followings are fantastic, they're not really great for conversions when it comes to course sales. So if you have a large social media following already, that is fantastic and that can definitely help you. But I want you to spend your time right now getting that social media following onto your email list or into a Facebook group. Now, if you're thinking, how can I estimate how many course sales I'm going to get? Industry average conversion rate math is 1 to 2% of those who see your offer, i.e. your sales page or your sales materials, will buy your thing. That conversion holds true for email, much less, however, for other social media options. So say things like launching to an Instagram following or launching to a YouTube channel or launching to your affiliates or ads. You're just not gonna hit that 1 to 2% conversion rate. That is not typical to find that type of a conversion rate when it comes to those other marketing options. If, however, you are launching to an email list or a really engaged Facebook group, it is definitely possible to be hitting those numbers. Step 3 is to do market research on your course idea. Most people, they pick their course idea and they're like, it's great. And maybe they've even heard from their audience in the past, like, yeah, I'd be interested in that. That would be great. But they haven't actually talked to any real humans before they go and settle on that idea, or they go ahead and launch that course. And that turns into a huge, huge issue. Let me give you a quick story to demonstrate this point. So I have 2 students in my course launch collective. They are the most lovely couple, Billy and Lydia. They run adultcello.com. And they had this course idea, which all of their audience had been asking for. There is a certain bucket list piece by Bach that everyone in the cello world wants to learn. And they decided to create their course on teaching this specific piece. Even though they had their course idea and they were completely convinced by it, I told them, you need to go do market research. You need to talk to your audience just to solidify that this is the right thing. When they did that market research, they quickly realized while everyone wanted to learn this piece, there was this gap in the middle. They had the beginner basics. This piece was a little bit challenging. There was a lot of technique that these students needed to nail in order to be ready to play this piece. And so they realized that they shouldn't actually be creating this course over here yet. They had the beginner one. They had the idea of the one in the future that everyone said they wanted, but they realized there was something missing in the middle, and that's what they needed to create now. So I hope this shows you, even if everyone has been saying, yes, I want this specific course, you might need to double check with them where they're actually at. Are they ready for this specific course? Or is there some different positioning that you need to be doing with this course? And this can only be figured out by actually talking to humans and doing your market research. Now, doing your market research is also a fantastic opportunity to test. Does your audience actually take action when you share a call to action with them, i.e. book a market research call with me? If people do indeed take you up on that call, then you know your people are both interested in the topic, which is a good sign for your future course, and they also do what you tell them to, which is another good omen for your course sales. If, however, on the other hand, you share this call to action, you want to get on market research calls with people, and there's crickets, it's best we learn that now before we've gone ahead and created the entire course or put our entire launch together, to kind of realize, oh, maybe this isn't actually 100% hitting the nail, or maybe I don't have the right audience for this offer. And that's good to figure out now and not once we get to like steps later on in this process. So from your market research calls, once you've actually talked to real humans, then you want to go ahead and tweak your outline of your course idea and/or the messaging around your course. Step 4 is to plan your course sales push, i.e. your course launch. So I want to talk quickly about why you should be launching first and not doing your sales on Evergreen from the start. Sales on Evergreen tend to have lower conversion rates. It doesn't normally hit the 1 to 2% that you find with launches because it lacks the live excitement and the community and the hype and the fun that a launch has. So conversions tend to be lower with Evergreen sales. I want you to start with the easier option. I want you to start with launching because it is easier to get the conversions that you want in a launch than it is on Evergreen. The thing that you need to know about literally purchasing anything is that people buy buy when there's a reason to buy right now. That is what I call a period of urgency. So to demonstrate this fact, I want to show you a quick graph of sales that I did in one of my first 6-figure launches. This is why course creators do open and close carts versus courses being available all of the time. As you can see, I opened cart and there was a few couple sales. This was people who were literally waiting for the course to open again. Then we had the end of our early bird period, and that is when a huge influx of sales came in because this was their last chance to save a couple $100s on the course price. Then I hosted some webinars. My launch schedule has changed since then, but back in the day I was hosting these webinars and there would be a live offer on those webinars. They would get an additional offer and additional bonuses if they enrolled within a certain amount of time of that webinar. And then finally we had the course close period, and that is when another huge rush of sales came in because people wanted to get in before doors closed. So as you can see in the graph there is sales in between, but like very, very few. If I had none of those periods of urgency, if the thing was just open all the time, there wasn't early bird, there wasn't a webinar, there wasn't a ending date to the sale and a closing of enrollment, I would have seen a fraction of the sales compared to having those periods of urgency inside of my launch. So step 5 is to put together your own promotional push, your own launch calendar, and then decide on the incentive to buy at specific points in time in that launch calendar. So typically course creators set up special offers available for 1 hour or 4 hours or 24 hours. Basically, they have short time specific offers within their course launch. Typically, these offers include things like extra bonuses, discounts, coaching calls, audits, or feedback on the student's work, that sort of thing. Now let's quickly talk about what your promo push is and is not. Again, your launch. It is not 3 social media posts, 3 emails, and then calling it a day. Your people are seeing a lot of promotions for a zillion things in their day. So you want to be hosting some sort of big online event and you want to be doing a lot of posts and a lot of emails. We're talking like 15 to 20 over a course of a couple weeks. You want to be doing things like live video trainings and groups or challenges, training weeks, webinars, boot camps, live virtual conferences, etc. You want some sort of big hype event and a whole lot of marketing messages to go along with it so that people even notice this thing is happening. I can't tell you the number of times that I have done a massive online event and done a ton of emails and a ton of posts, and then someone at the end of it comes back and they're like, oh man, I missed it. It's like, how did you miss it? I sent you literally like 15 emails. But it just goes to show that like people have so much going on in their day that while we feel like it's a lot that we're putting out there, this is just a small blip in their day. And so you need a lot more than like 3 social media posts or 3 emails in order to make a dent and to actually have people notice that your launch is happening. Step number 6 is to demonstrate your knowledge and expertise live in your pre-launch event. Your pre-launch event, when you're teaching something, is where you're building trust with your audience and they learn like, oh yeah, they actually know what they're talking about. And it makes your audience realize like, oh, I really like her or her style or her vibe or her delivery or her educational whatever. And it makes them realize I would like to learn from that person. You want to explain the why and maybe a bit of the how, the starter bits for the how to achieving the thing that they want in the end of the course. But all the resources and tutorials for the how to do and easily implement and do things quickly are inside of your course. So think about like what you're doing in the pre-launch event is giving a little taster session of what the entire larger course looks like. The other thing which I see people getting wrong so often when it comes to their pre-launch event is they just do like little tidbits of information and then a massive pitch. People start to get a reputation online when they do that, and it doesn't bode well for their future launches. It also doesn't bode well for their sales in that specific launch. You want your pre-launch event to be genuinely useful. You actually want to help people in your pre-launch event completely for free go through an experience and also come out with a result at the end of it, not just have given a little bit of information, super long pitch. While it is important that your pre-launch event is genuinely useful, the thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to give your people in your pre-launch event this like weeks worth long of homework from the event of whatever you taught that's going to take them forever to implement, because then they're going to think, oh, well, actually, like all the things that she gave me to do, this is going to take me like weeks or months. And therefore, I'm going to wait on buying the course until I've done all this stuff first. Step number 7 is to make your limited time offer. This is to open the doors to your course, let them know all the information about it, all the transformation that they can expect to achieve when they join you inside the program. And from this, you, depending on your email list size, could get 5 students, 20 students, 50 students. On my first launch, I did 36 students from opening the doors and then closing cart again at the end of the launch period. Once you have the students in the door, the work does not stop there. It literally just starts. This is where you need to be serving your students well. You want to stay stay in touch with them, keep up with their progress, ensure that they are actually achieving the result that your course promised, and then incentivize them to give you a testimonial so that you can use that for your future launches. I've seen course creators offer a ton of different things in order to incentivize their people to give a testimonial. It takes time and effort out of that person's day, so it's truly legit that you do something as a thank you for it. So this could look like a few different things. I've seen course creators do longer access to a community. If there was like 6 months of community access involved originally, then they go ahead and they add an extra couple months on if those people go ahead and give a testimonial. I've also seen course creators do things like they'll do a course refund raffle. Everyone who submits their testimonial, doesn't matter what you say in the testimonial, you're going to be submitted for this like refund raffle. And so one person, they get name picked out of a hat, they get their course purchase refunded to them. I've also seen course creators do things like give away a bundle of certain softwares that would be helpful to their students, or also a book bundle giveaway. Those are all very common things that course creators do to incentivize people to share a testimonial with them. Step number 9 is to build your audience some more. So the key to having more students in the future and a bigger course launch in the future is to have a larger audience. How do you do this? You want to share highly relevant content, free content online, places like this on YouTube, or on a blog, or on a podcast, or you go be guest experting in other people's like programs or memberships or communities or whatever it is. You want to share very relevant content. Again, very relevant being key. If you have a course on one thing, mindset, and you're off talking about, I don't know, EFT tapping, it's like kind of in the same realm, but it's not highly relevant. So you want your content that you're sharing online or in front of other people's communities or in blog posts or whatever it is to be highly relevant to your course offer, because that's when you're going to build your email list with people who truly would want to purchase your course and therefore can be hitting proper industry average conversion rates. But the key is to not just share free content. That is super helpful and all, but how is that person going to find their way back to you? How are you going to share your marketing message with them when your course launch opens again? That is why you want to share some sort of helpful freebie with those people. You can collect their email address and you can get back in touch with them in the future. And then step number 10 is to launch again a few months later. If you didn't get those 100 students in your very first launch, that is totally fine. You can launch again in the future and you go ahead and build those student numbers up over time. Growing your sales in the future is honestly pretty simple. It involves repeating steps 9 and step 10 again and again and again. Building audience, launching, building audience, launching, building audience, launching. As a course creator, that is actually what you spend most of your time doing. Now you can totally add in other strategies in the long term, like running ads for your course, getting affiliates to promote your course, setting up evergreen funnels. I really want you to get the industry average conversion rate in your launches before you start doing all of these other things, because ads and affiliates and funnels, they just don't convert the same like live launches to your own audience, which you've built a relationship with do. And so I really want you to nail that first before you start getting into these other strategies. So what if you've done literally all those things which I just told you? You successfully went through steps 1 to 10, you nail every single one on the head, but you still aren't quite hitting the coveted 100 sales. What do you do? This is when it's useful to start borrowing audiences. Now, I do not mean an affiliate program here, but I do mean collaborating with other people. So I want you to think this through. What is the point that your ideal course client is at before they're ready to take your course? For example, I have my program, Square Secrets Business, which teaches people, primarily women, how to build their own freelance web design business online. And where are those ladies typically before this point? They're normally virtual assistants, they're brand designers, they're copywriters who are kind of frustrated that they've hit a ceiling with their income, and therefore they're looking for an option for like a higher priced service that they can offer so that they can actually start hitting their true financial goals. So if I was a savvy course creator, but I was still not hitting my 100 course sales goal, then what I would do is I would go and find complementary business owners who have an audience that would fit my course perfectly, and I'd offer to go do a free training for their audience, or be a guest expert in their course or their community or their membership, or maybe do something like a live collaboration with them on their podcast or their YouTube channel or their blog or wherever it is that they have an audience. I would then build my email list with these people, nurture them weekly on my email list with free content, and keep in touch with them, and then have them there and ready for my next course launch. Now, this strategy, which I'm talking about, is different than an affiliate program in a few ways. The main one being that running an affiliate program with your launch is kind of like running a second launch. One of my students in the Course Launch Collective asked me about this. She's like, what's the point at which I should add an affiliate program? And I was like, when you are truly nailing it, the conversion rate with your own course, and you can launch pretty like stress-free and it's not a huge hot mess every time you're launching, that's the point at which, if this thing's running like a well-oiled machine, that's when we can start adding an affiliate program, because truly running an affiliate program with your launch is like running a second launch. So if you don't have the first launch down, you don't want to add on a second one because it will just become chaos. This strategy is not running an affiliate program, but it is list building with the right people. Just to give you a little reassurance, these strategies can not just help you get your first 100 sales, but literally thousands of sales. These strategies, which I've shared with you in this video, is exactly what I've been doing to enroll well over 4,000 students to the tune of multiple millions in course sales. When you nail this strategy, what I've been talking about in this video, you'll finally get that course business that you were hoping for. You can truly also have an unlimited income ceiling and a truly passive style business and an impact that would just never be possible in the one-to-one client business model. But if you're still unsure if this will work for you or if being a course creator is a legit option for you, then I have something you're going to love, and that is my quiz. It is called Does My Course Have Six-Figure Potential? And in just 60 seconds, it'll tell you if your course idea indeed has what it takes to make 6 figures in sales. To get a hold of that quiz, you can head to pbcourses.com/potential, and I'll also put the link for that in the description for you below. Oh, and if you're looking to make more progress towards your course creator dreams, then you're likely going to need to pick a course hosting platform soon too. So if that is you right now, then I also highly suggest watching this video next, where I'm going to go through and compare the 2 most popular course hosting platforms out there, Teachable and Kartra.